So we are going into set 3, and it is going to be a TVT between Leta and BoguS. Oh man, poor BoguS. Getting another TVT here. People in the chat were just saying how, like, BoguS is not very good at TVT. Apparently that's why his win ratio this season is not very good, because he keeps getting TVT. Leta, on the other hand, is pretty good at TVT, so he'll be kind of happy about this. He's 3-2 this season. Not amazing, but it's pretty good. And as we saw just now, he is 2-0 against BoguS in lifetime stats, head-to-head stats. So yeah, definitely looking good for CJ here. So Leta being a cutie. I hope he does a backflip again or something. That was really impressive. And yep, looks like, oh man, BoguS is 0-5 against Terran. Serious? Serious? If you took out his TVT stats, he'd be 7-4 overall in the season. But because of TVT, he's 7-9. Oh man, 0-5. This guy, like, oh man, you guys weren't kidding when you said he was bad at TVT. I didn't even realize. Oh, that's sad. That's sad. Anyway, looks like some people scrambling to get back to their seats in time for this game. And according to Kanage, BoguS actually already lost to Leta in the first round. Yeah, I actually remember that game. Didn't BoguS do like some weird two-fact timing against Leta and like failed miserably or something on Jade? Yeah. Yeah, I think I kind of remember that game. Because I think I had an argument with Keontae about TVT after that game, about how like two-fact tank is a terrible build, because you just die instantly to Wraiths. Anyways, we're going to be on ground zero here. Leta will be the blue Terran at the top left, BoguS will be the teal Terran here at the top right. And that guy is cheering for D24. What? I don't know. So, Depo's in the main. 14 old. Is Leta like 14 years old or something? I wouldn't be surprised. He looks like a little kid. Alright. That guy's a creeper. He's hitting on 14-year-old boys. Anyway, this depot that you see here, by the way, for BoguS is there for a specific purpose, which is to actually make SCV mining more efficient on the bottom patches. As you can see, Leta's depot is a little bit further away from the minerals, because I don't think you can optimize the mining anymore in this position, but in the top right, the SCVs on the bottom two patches, I think, they take a little bit of a roundabout route when they're going to the command center. So if you build a depot there, it makes them mine a little bit more efficiently. Just a little pro tip for you guys. And we have barracks at the top of the ramp for both players. Very standard stuff. Probably just going to make a couple of Marines and then float that out. So, that would... Alright. So, let's just assume Leta takes out BoguS. And then... What happens in set 4? Do you use... I mean, like, CJ still has Movie, Harangi. It'll probably be a Protoss, right? Maybe they can snipe him with Calm. I'm gonna say Leta takes this one, and we see like maybe wait, actually I don't know what the next map is though, but let's just ignore the map and say it's gonna be like Movie versus Calm or something in the next one. Who knows? They might even use like Shuttle or something random. I mean, that worked for Team 8 once. But anyway, it looks like gas actually hasn't been taken yet for... Oh, no, there it is. Okay. I think that's fine, but yeah, so both players going for the 1 Rex expand and then getting their gas now. Complete mirror builds. And SCV gonna get chased away. Alright. So, actually, did Leta not scout? Yeah, this is very interesting. Look at this. Leta actually hasn't scouted yet, so he doesn't know what BoguS is doing. So he actually is making a bunker at his front here. just to defend himself, but since BoguS sent out the early SCV and he saw that Leta was doing the exact same build as he was, he actually doesn't need to make that bunker. He can actually just optimize the build a little bit. However, it is basically, I think it evens out, because see, he sent out the early SCV scout, so obviously he lost earlier mining time, but then that saved him 100 minerals later on with that bunker, so I mean, I don't know if it exactly evens out, but it kind of does, I think. Anyway, Leta has gone out for his SCV scout just now. And unfortunately for him, he's going to scout in the wrong direction. Let's see if he actually goes cross map now, given that he saw BoguS's scout timing. No, looks like he's just... Oh! No, I think he's just going to go to the bottom right. So, identical foods, identical builds. Let's see if we have a deviation here. After the first factory finishes, one player might go for a starport. The other will add on a second factory. Which will it be? Look at that! Both players taking their natural gas, like, identically. This is going to be really cool, actually. Alright, any starport? Any starport? Two-pack? Two-pack? No? I'm actually surprised BoguS made 3 Marines there. I don't think that was necessary to have all 3 there. Maybe he made them before he actually saw what Leta was doing. Oh, but it looks like... Oh, he's trying to find that SCV. Oh, he's going to finish it off with a Vulture. And yes, we are going to have a starport from both players. Oh, it's going to be a 2-port though from Leta. Of course, Leta, the master of 2-port Wraith, it's like his favorite strategy ever. He likes 2-porting almost as much as he likes not combing his hair. And I saw only 1 starport for BoguS, which means he's probably... He's got no second factory, he's got no armor. I don't actually know what he's spending his money on, since they did the same build, and yet Leta has an extra starport. But he's getting the academy, so he will have scans to see the cloaked wraiths. But he won't really have much anti-air, though. I mean, 2-port wraiths, you know, lets you make more wraiths than 1-port wraith. That one wasn't really hard to figure out. So that's not going to be good. Notice, by the way, that Leta did build his starports on opposite corners of his base. So when this barracks goes and flies in, it might see one of the starports, and then it won't see a second one. So he might just assume it's like 1 port as well. Because I mean, usually, you know, just for convenience sake, you would put your starports together. But in this case, Leta has been a little bit tricky here. So BoguS is going to see the 1 Wraith. Leta presumably will hide the Wraiths from the second starport. At least he won't use them to attack this barracks. Just so BoguS isn't actually aware of what's going on just yet. And yeah, he's just going to use the Marines and the one Wraith here. Oh, looks like the Wraiths do see each other. Going to be a little bit careful now. But look at this. This is so funny because BoguS is like being aggressive with this 1 Wraith, but he doesn't realize that actually there's about to be 2 Wraiths going to ambush that poor little lonely Wraith there. Oh no, it has flown. No. Okay. And we do have 3 factories on the other side. I think that was an armory just finishing up there. And Leta just going to wait a little longer before moving out here. The armory is finished. I don't see a Goliath yet. There's 3 Marines in the main, but there is the cloak going down as well. And Leta looking for a Wraith. Oh, he actually poked one of those SCVs there. And there's actually going to be a Valkyrie. He can actually snipe the Valkyrie. Oh my god, Leta was not paying attention there. I thought he could have sniped the Valkyrie as it popped. He's going to try and evade the Comsat. Barely keeps that Wraith alive here, but there is a second Comsat finish, so he does have to be very careful with these Wraiths. Actually, that was a very smart move from BoguS. I'm a little bit surprised that he did that. I thought he didn't see the second factory, which would make getting a Valkyrie very strange. But apparently he did, or I guess maybe he sniffed it out. But either way, he's actually just going for an attack with his 4 siege tanks here. Of course, he does have a vastly superior ground army since Leta invested in the air units. But it looks like, oh, Leta sniping one of the Wraiths, the Valkyrie getting a few parting shots off. Leta does have tanks of his own, and that barracks has like been on an epic journey here. I can't believe it's still alive. But BoguS is actually setting up position outside of Leta's natural. Leta could be in a little bit of trouble. I mean, I don't think he'll die necessarily, but he's just going to get contained here, and that's going to be super annoying to get contained so early in the game. It looks like Siege Mode actually not finished for either player. Look at this. It's like a race between the machine shops here. Oh my god, this is like a high-speed car chase between buildings. between two immovable objects. We're actually, it's like a race. Oh my god. Anyway, it looks like they finish almost exactly the same time. Leta hasn't sieged up yet though, and he's sending out his cloaked raids once again. Alright, now he's sieging up. So Leta, oh man, that was so close. I think Leta got maybe a little bit lucky there, not getting contained. Oh, poking these Valkyries a little bit. Valkyrie's apparently pretty beefy there. I thought that Valkyrie took like 10 wraith shots and still hasn't died, so that's kind of interesting. Anyway, so both players kind of setting up siege lines. The line has been drawn closer to Leta's base. That does give BoguS a little bit more space, a little bit more room to play with. Meanwhile, 3 factories, all with machine shops for Leta. So Leta looks like he's definitely going for the Wraith tank style of play here. Meanwhile, BoguS's barracks is about to burn down. I don't think he's going to just even bother trying to repair this. I'm just going to have to remake that before we can add any more factories. Interestingly, BoguS has quite a nice supply lead as well. 90 supply, 92 supply against 75. And he is taking the 3 o'clock base. Leta is making an expansion, or making a command center rather, in his main base, going to float that over to the 1130 base. That is going to favor BoguS in the long run. The left and right side bases, so like the mains and naturals and the 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock, have more minerals per patch and more gas, I believe, as well, compared to the 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock inside expansions. So, yeah, this does seem to be a slightly favorable position for Leta, but of course that won't really come into play until the base is actually mined out. And the supplies are staying fairly close at this point now. A couple more factories being added on for Leta. He is adding on a few vultures of his own. I do like this. Of course, going Wraith tank is extremely gas heavy, so you do need to produce the occasional round of vultures. Can't keep constant tank production. And look at this, the Wraith's actually going to go deny, or rather delay this third base of BoguS. A couple of siege tanks coming down to help out. There's only Valkyries there, like that one Wraith isn't doing anything. And, oh, looks like, wow, nice move there. Leta actually moving in and sniping the second SCV and the third SCV that was sent over to finish that command center here. Leta being extremely annoying with these vultures, going for some fantasy-style vulture harassment. And, oh man, look at this! On the other side, though, BoguS actually used 1 Marine to deny that expansion of Leta. He actually had 1 Marine standing under the command center there. That's quite cute. Obviously, that does get cleaned up very easily, but, so his expansion is just been landed there, and BoguS should finish this up quite quickly, so, wait, I think, no, yeah, that's right. I thought I got confused between the players for a second there, but, yeah, basically the same expansion timing for both players. Meanwhile, Leta trying to push down the left side a little bit, just make sure he doesn't let BoguS wrap all the way around and completely contain him. Kind of what we saw in Mind versus Kanata, where Kanata kind of got contained into his corner of the map, while Mind took the rest of the map, although, spoiler alert, that match didn't actually end well for Mind anyway. But, yeah, better to kind of establish these tank lines early on. So on the defensive, siege tanks are so efficient. It's much easier to just, send a couple of tanks over there now, siege up, and just not worry about it, rather than later on finding out that you're a little bit contained and you have to kind of focus all your forces and do a break on the tank line. It's a lot more annoying. Anyway, it looks like Leta is continuing Wraith production, but that is a lot of Valkyries out for BoguS. BoguS going for some serious Valkyrie production there. I'm not sure if it's necessary to have that many Valkyries. You do want to mix in some Wraiths at least so you can poke the enemy siege tanks a little bit. Looks like he does have a couple of Wraiths in there. But, oh, meanwhile, Leta actually adding on Valkyries of his own. And adding on a bunch of factories as well. He's going up to something like 8 factories against the 6 of BoguS. I don't know if I counted correctly there, but he's going to have a nice factory advantage. The supplies, meanwhile, staying neck and neck. 143 supply now versus 138, I believe. Either way, very, very close. And more or less a split map situation right now. I mean, the tank lines are being drawn in the middle here. It looks like it's slightly pushing towards Leta's side of the map, but not in any significant way, I think. So, yeah, things are definitely still fine for both players. Leta looks like he's thinking about taking this 9 o'clock expansion. That would be his 4th base. Whereas I do see something at the bottom right for for BoguS there, perhaps thinking about expanding to that main. It's actually something at the bottom right and bottom left, giving us vision. I don't actually know what those are. They might just be like vultures or something, just scouting. Anyway, Leta now finally mobilizing his air force here. Quite a number of Valkyries and Wraiths. Now, this is actually going to be very interesting. With all the splash damage, it might just be like both air forces might just, you know, kill each other. Even though Leta does seem to have a slightly superior air force, with all the splash damage from those Valkyrie rockets, could be quite close. Guess we'll see. And no serious engagements just yet. Looks like some vultures going to skirmish here at the south side of the map. No, actually, looks like BoguS is going to go for a break here on the 6 o'clock. Not really 6 o'clock, but on the the southern edge of the tank line here. Leta's tank line didn't extend all the way down, so BoguS actually coming in at a very good angle and clipping 4 or 5 siege tanks there. Meanwhile, Leta, on the other hand, has sent some vultures all the way around and is actually going to start killing SCVs at this 3 o'clock expansion here. Some vultures and wraiths of BoguS coming back to defend, but he's going to get a lot of SCVs. Meanwhile, though, Leta's air force is actually picking off the siege tanks here. Very nice moves from Leta here, using his vultures to pull away the air force. Meanwhile, his own air force takes down the siege tanks. This is exactly how he wants to engage. Unfortunately, it looks like it wasn't a favorable air battle for him. No, it looks like maybe it was actually. Leta does clean up all the air forces. He's left with 3 Valkyries as the Goliaths of BoguS come in to save the siege tanks. I'm not actually sure who has come out ahead after all those engagements. It looks like Leta comes out with a 20 supply advantage, so I guess it must be him. Although BoguS seems to have a slightly better tank line along the south side of the map. He is splitting the map more favorably for himself, but it looks like Leta, though, doing a big push along the north side. He's kind of skirting around the edge of the tank line here, and whoa! A lot of vultures for Leta, actually running straight into the natural here. Gonna get some more SCVs. Very interesting. Leta just doing constant vulture harassment on the SCVs. And BoguS just kind of struggling to keep up here. But that does kind of weaken Leta's main attack force, of course. In these big ground engagements, it is very helpful to have those extra vultures, of course, to tank the initial siege tank shots and let your own siege tanks get into position. So he has kind of weakened his, I mean, on the one hand he has kind of hurt the economy of BoguS, but then he's also weakened his own ground forces. So he's got to be a little bit more careful. Yeah, and as you can see, BoguS overwhelming this this little push attempt for Leta, and there's actually nothing to protect these siege tanks, even from the spider mines. So that's definitely not good. But Leta switching targets, going along the south side now. Wow, Leta being extremely active in this game. Making it quite exciting for a TVT, I gotta say. And yeah, it looks like actually there is a vulture at the bottom left for BoguS, denying that base, but the bottom right base, oh my god, it's gonna lose every single SCV. 6 vultures running in here, killing the 1 vulture that was there to defend. Absolutely nothing else to defend here. The SCVs fleeing for their lives, but he's gonna lose most of these, I think. Oh my goodness, that was not good. Looks like a dropship even coming in, just going to drop a couple of siege tanks to save it. Looks like he does save a handful of the SCVs. Meanwhile, I think that was that a counter drop? It looks like it was actually, yeah, a counter drop for BoguS here at the 12:30, 11:30-ish base. That's going to get cleaned up here. It's such a ridiculous game, but Leta definitely keeping his advantage. 167 supply against 132 right now. Constantly pumping units. I think that he's got 3 starports going, 2 with control towers, 1 without. But Leta's seriously playing a fantasy-style game here. Like, if you had shown me this game and didn't tell me who the players were, I would have said blue is fantasy for sure. But Leta, well, as we know, it's not. It's actually Leta, the crazy-haired kid from CJ. Is showing us some great TVT. Looks like +2 done for BoguS's tanks, for BoguS's mech. Can we see Leta's mech? Maybe? No. Observer is not going to be so kind, but he is going to show us a big drop going in along the north side. It is going to be covered by these Valkyries and the Wraiths, and actually there's almost no defense here in the main base of BoguS, but it looks like he's aware of what's going on, though. Yes, this engineering bay does spot things now, and here goes a drop. I think it's 3 or 4 dropships. He's going in. There's only one turret. The Valkyries and Wraiths are drawing fire. And actually, he tries to ambush BoguS' own drop as it comes home to defend with his air units. And meanwhile, it looks like we're going to have a switch in targets here. BoguS unloaded too early here. He thought the drop would go to the main for sure. But actually, Leta, as soon as he sees the drop goes down for BoguS, he instantly switches target to the 3 o'clock. And that's going to force BoguS to, unsiege and reload up here. And this 3 o'clock is going to go down. Actually, brilliant play from Leta, I got to say. And simultaneously going into the bottom right, you can see BoguS is sweating hard. This is some insane multitasking and decision making from Leta. I am so impressed by this TBT. Like this is really good TBT. I'm really happy to see this after watching Mind versus Kanata yesterday. That was less than spectacular, but this is really nice. And I think BoguS is completely dead here. It's 164 supply against 91. BoguS behind by 70 supply. He's just getting completely outplayed here. This is like, Leta's just playing a different league of TBT. And I don't really know what BoguS can do. He's going to kind of clean up the last of this drop. He's going to be able to reclaim his 3 o'clock base, but he's just suffered so many SCV casualties, and he's got no money left. Leta now going for the kill here, sending his ground forces across the map. The tank line of BoguS not quite in the perfect position here. He's kind of holding the middle of the map, but Leta can actually just go push down here, take down a few of these tanks, and then unsiege and go straight for the natural. BoguS has almost nothing left. He's brought a few siege tanks back to try and defend. But that is a lot of tanks coming out for Leta. I mean, he's got almost double the supply of BoguS right now. I think he's got actually literally double the supply. So yeah, he can just push over whenever he wants. Probably doesn't realize quite how far ahead he is, so he's going to play this a little bit carefully. Of course, running headlong into sieged tanks is usually not a good idea, so you got to be a little bit careful, even if you think you have the superior army count. But oh, here's the load up. There's a bunch of SCVs here. Is he actually loading those up? Whoa! Hello, Spider Mines. Wow, I actually took a mine hit on both of those. I hope he repairs those, because otherwise the vultures can just kill them. Looks like Leta actually doesn't realize, too busy focused on this drop. He has loaded up a bunch of SCVs. Now, presumably that's just to, like, tank shots. But, I mean, we could see some mana command centers. He's got 1,200 minerals for it. But there's the GG. No chance for a mana, and Leta takes set number 3 here. CJ, who went down in the first game, pulling it back, and are now up 2-1 over STX Seoul. They're looking in good shape to take this match. Note that it is quite crucial that they take it. They want to win this match and win against... I would have preferred a backflip, but, to each his own. So yeah, CJ, if they can take this and then take out Ace, they will be in the playoffs. Good position for them. STX, of course, are already eliminated. They have no chance of getting to playoffs, but they, I'm sure they do want to show some good games at least in this last week. So, yeah, let us move on to the next set.
Peggy 12.